Hi, today is Friday, May 5th, 2017, and this is A Swede Speaks. And there has been a debate for a long time in my old hometown in Sweden, Karlstad, where I lived from 1999 until 2006. I left in February 2006. And the debate has been about building a mosque in the neighborhood of Rud in Karlstad. I know perfectly well exactly where that is. I used to live pretty close to it for a while. Then I moved away to a better neighborhood, at least somewhat better, and then I moved to Oslo. Anyway, but the interesting thing is that this debate that has been in Karlstad, there has actually been some voices who have been critical of this mosque, and this mosque is those who are planning to build it are Salafis. I mean, it's a Salafist association behind this. Of course, they market themselves as Sunni Muslims, and yes, they are Sunni Muslims and they are Salafists. And one of the things they have done is that they have invited Salafi speakers to talk to them. So this is disturbing. This is bad news. And I listened to a discussion between the Swedish podcaster Ronny Berggren and the ex-Muslim Mohammed Eddie Omar about this, because Mohammed Eddie Omar has been involved in the discussion. He doesn't live in Karlstad, he lives in Uppsala. But being an ex-Muslim, he has an inside perspective on Islam that is invaluable. And he is actually probably the best expert in Sweden right now, at least among those who say anything. And in this discussion, Ronny Berggren says that Sweden is full of cowardly politicians. I could not agree anymore. That is the truth. And the thing is, in Karlstad, two parties in the city council are opposed to this: the Sweden Democrats and the moderates. And I'm actually amazed by the moderates that they oppose this, because the moderates at the national level, they are the so-called Conservative Party of Sweden. At the national level, they're just cultural radicals. They might not call themselves this, they might not understand it, but that's what they are. But in Karlstad, they are doing the right thing and they are fighting a good fight. And they should have credit for that. All the other parties have been in favor. The Christian Democrats have been sort of undecided, but now it looks like the mosque will be built because there is a majority in city council for building it. And I also listened to an interview with the municipal commissioner in Karlstad, a Green Party member named Per-Inge Lidén, and they asked him about this, and he says that he is positive to them building this mosque, and he says that there is a problem that the association who are going to build this mosque have invited Salafi speakers, but we can't stop them from building a mosque because of that. Well, they're building it on municipal land. They have to get a grant from the municipality to build it, but he thinks we can't stop it. No, instead he says we are going to have dialogue with them. Pardon my French, but he is a moron. He is either willingly or unwillingly ignorant. That's what it is. You can't have a dialogue with people who want to kill you. You can't have a dialogue with people who consider you an infidel. You just can't. And the sooner Swedish politicians learn this, the better. Some have learned. A moderate politician in Karlstad, a female moderate, has been openly opposed to this, as her party has been, but she has been fighting the good fight in media, and for this she has been threatened. But they still get to build their mosque. Isn't this crazy? I mean, sadly, I am not surprised. This is exactly what I expect, but I just think it's so sad. And let me make one thing clear, or let me make two things clear. First of all, I am not against Muslims. I am against Islam. There's a difference. Just like I am not against Marxists. I am against Marxism. A Muslim or a Marxist is a person who can change their mind. Of course, for a Muslim to change his or her mind, it takes pretty much. And not just that they need to understand that they have bought the wrong ideas and a toxic ideology, but also if you openly leave Islam, you might get killed. And I would be surprised if that doesn't happen in Sweden too. I mean, Sweden is so far not a Muslim majority country. That might happen, and maybe sooner than we think. By now, about 10% of the population of Sweden is Muslim, according to calculations. There are no statistics on this. But according to calculations on where people come from, where their parents came from, and the number of Muslims in these countries, 10% seems to be a good estimate. And 10% is the level that, as what I've heard from other ex-Muslims, that around 10% Muslims start a more aggressive policy against the surrounding society. Well, what has been happening in Sweden for the last few years? And that's just been for the last 5 years or so. I mean, I left Sweden in 2006, and I didn't hear about any car burnings, any no-go zones, anything like that. I still knew that the place, that Rud was not a good place. Kronoparken, where I lived before I moved away from that area, was not a good place, and I knew this. Well, I sort of knew. I didn't want to see it, but I sort of knew this had something to do with immigration from Muslim majority countries. But it's gotten worse. And the only explanation I can find is that the number of Muslims has increased. And this is not about immigration either, not completely at least. The guy who is leading this Sunni Muslim association in Karlstad is an ethnic Swede who has converted to Islam. And he is crazy too. I mean, the problem isn't where people come from, the problem is their ideas. But if we import people with these ideas, we get these problems. And there's a social democrat in Karlstad named Linda Larsson. When she was asked about this, first of all, she had no idea what Salafism was at all. And if anyone wonders, Salafism is sort of the same thing as Wahhabism, although Salafists think that Wahhabism is derogatory, but it's sort of the same thing. And this means fundamentalist Islam, and when it comes to Islam, fundamentalism is not a good thing. Remember that, it's not a good thing. But she had no clue about that. She just went on about freedom of association and freedom of religion. Well, when Sweden got these laws back in the 19th century, there were no Muslims in Sweden. That wasn't an issue. The issue was about the relationship between the state church, which was the Lutheran church. It's not a state church anymore, but it's still controlled by the state somehow. That's a crazy story, but that's another thing. And other movements like the Pentecostals, the Baptists, and even Lutheran free churches, and how to grant them their rights to meet and have prayer meetings. And also the Jews. And there was no problem with this. But then Islam came, and Sweden got problems. Karlstad got problems. My old hometown is getting this, because when you speak about dialogue, you need to understand that there will be no dialogue with these people. Sure, they might invite you. If you are the municipal commissioner or a politician in the municipality of Karlstad, they might invite you. They might tell you what they think. You might tell them what they think, and they might nod and smile at you. But they will not care about anything you say as long as you keep on supporting them. So there is no talk about integration or assimilation here, and this needs to get through the thick skulls of the cowardly politicians of Sweden. And if Sweden is going to have any hope, if Karlstad is going to have any hope, these politicians need to be replaced. And there is elections coming up next year in Sweden, both at the national and at the local level. And I think that people in Sweden and people in Karlstad should start remembering names. Who voted for this thing? Who voted against it? Who votes this way in other places in Sweden? That's what I think should be done. And the people who are undermining Western civilization, Judeo-Christian civilization, Swedish culture, they shouldn't be voted. They shouldn't get any votes. And those who are fighting the good fight should be rewarded. They should get the votes. If there's going to be any peaceful solution to this. And I hope there will be. Just to make myself clear, I certainly hope there will be. But this is bad. Karlstad, this is really bad. And that's what I have to say about this right now. I would like to thank the people who are supporting this channel. Through prayers, through Patreon, through PayPal, that's all greatly appreciated. And if you like this channel, please subscribe so you don't miss anything. Please share my videos on social media, on Facebook and Twitter, and so on. I'm trying to reach 1,000 subscribers, and I want your help with that. And if you got something to say, feel free to comment. Please like this video if you like it. And I would also like to encourage you to support this channel. And I will include all the necessary information in the information box below. This is A Swede Speaks. Have a nice day.